Good morning, you guys, it's Karen, and I thought I would do a very different video. And this came about because when Kev and I go on holiday, or for years when we've gone on holiday, I've taken these little cards that somebody gave me as a gift. And they're cards for questions to ask each other, for couples, to find out more about each other if you've been together for a long time. Or even if you haven't, I suppose it doesn't really matter. And I thought that was a really good idea. Not that Kev and I generally run out of conversation, because I am, Miss Chatty. I remember once we were driving from Edinburgh to Luton, where my family were at the time. And so it's about like a 7-hour journey, and he said to me when we got there, he said, "Do you know that you have not stopped speaking from the minute we left the house until now?" I was like, I did not know that, and that's pretty impressive. And he's like, my ears need a break. Anyway, they're really interesting questions though. And when you've been together a long time, Kev and I have been together 20 years actually now, over 20 years. You would think you would know everything about each other, but there are some questions in this pack that I was like, oh, I don't know what Kev's answer would be. And so we were chatting about it, and I thought that would be a good idea for a tag. There has been lots of get to know me tags over the years, but I haven't done a tag on my channel for a long time. And I know I've got a lot of new subscribers, and I thought it would be fun for you to see what my answers to the questions are. There's 8 questions. And any other YouTuber can do it, anybody else that wants to make a video. And if you want to let me know that you've done a video, I'll come and watch yours as well. That would be great. Because I know a few of you are kind of branching out and doing your own videos. The first question is, when are you at your happiest? So I instantly knew the answer for Kev would be on the golf course, and he pretty much got mine as well on this one. Anything to do with golf would be Kev's happy scenario, and anything to do with like if he could be playing golf and myself and Watson were there, he would love that too. Watson's my dog, I'm sure you all know that. For me, my happiest scenario is sitting, it's normally a Friday night this happens, or a Saturday night, like sitting watching TV, but you've got something that you're really into to watch. And for me, that would be like a documentary, or sometimes Kev and I have something really good. Like the most recent thing we watched that was so good was called Blackbird, and it was on Apple TV. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. It's quite disturbing, but it's one of those where you're like, I can't wait to see the next one. And there's a few things I feel like nowadays that make you feel like that. But so something like that, something that I'm really into, with Watson next to me, Watson, my dog, next to me, Kev with me, and we're eating some good food and drinking some nice drink. I love my food, so I'm happiest when I'm eating and drinking, So if I had a Bacardi and Diet Coke, or a glass of strawberry wine and actually I like prawn crackers, that's what I'm into at the moment, some prawn crackers or something like that, that's when I'm happiest. Number 2 is, what is your biggest fear? And Kev had to think about his before he answered actually, but I asked him what he thought mine was, and he said he thought my biggest fear was being misunderstood. And that's a frustration that I have. I wouldn't say it's my biggest fear, but I do find it frustrating when people completely misunderstand me, when I can't get across, when I come across in a way that I'm absolutely not. And I always use this example of when I worked for this computer training company, and I was managing quite a few staff, probably about 15 staff, something like that. And there was this one girl came to the door of my office. She'd knocked on it, and I'd said, come in. She'd opened the door, and I looked at her and smiled, and she said to me, "Oh my God, what did I do? What was that look for?" And I was just I stunned, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And she said, "You just give me a dirty look." And I was like, "No, I didn't." And she's like, "Am I in trouble?" And I was like, "No, I was smiling at you." I feel like my facial expressions and my words and stuff sometimes get misunderstood, but that's not my biggest fear. My biggest fear, I have 2. My biggest fear is losing Watson, and how I'm going to cope with that. Watson, my dog, because he is our world. And, I was upset when I lost my childhood dog, really upset when Shandy died. And I don't understand how I'm going to cope without him, because he's literally, there's something of him everywhere. And he is, we never leave him alone. He's nearly 9, and we've never gone out to dinner without him. We've never left him overnight, and it's just going to be so strange and heart-wrenching, and I don't know how I'm going to get over that. I never knew how I would get over my dad dying, but I have not gotten over it. But I read something the other day that I thought that's a good way of looking at it. It says, grief never leaves you, but you learn to walk beside it. And I thought, that's exactly what it is. I'm still thinking of Dad. I'm still having my tears. I'm still seeing things that remind me of him, and it's ongoing. I still haven't been able to get rid of his ashes. I still can't look at photographs, but I'm learning to walk beside it, and maybe that will happen with Watson. But my other biggest fear is aging. I just am so scared because I feel like since I was 33, not even since I was getting old, but since I was 33, I feel like every year I've had a different health issue to deal with, or my health issues have got worse. And then now being 51, I'm like, all sorts of things are happening. Like every time I find a new wrinkle or something happens, like my hair is coming out a bit or something, you know, it's like it's because of age, or I find it difficult to get up off the floor at the minute, and that's really bothering me because I get on the floor to play with Watson, and you know, but if I do that, it tends to really mess up my knee. I'm not finding it comfortable sleeping, and you know, so it's a combination of, there is a bit of vanity in there because there is a lot of, I don't feel like I can't lose weight as easy. That's one of the things, you know, there's the whole menopause thing, but I just find it so difficult to get it to a point where I can look in the mirror and go, oh yeah, you look okay, you know, or I always felt like I could get my makeup on, I could put an outfit on, and I could make myself feel nice. But now outfits are out of the question until I feel like I'm back to a bit more of a normal weight. And when I put my makeup on, I can still see through the makeup. I can see my eyes. Even the woman that did my Botox, she went, yeah, I noticed your creepy eyes. I was like, thanks very much, you know. But so aging, I'm really scared of, like, how bad is it going to get, you know? And especially because we don't have children or anything. So I don't know who's going to look after us when we're old. We'll have to try and be healthy if we can, you know. Okay, number 3, I'm rambling a bit. These are going to take forever, aren't they? What did I want to be as a child? I don't actually know Kev's answer to this. I must ask him. I think I've forgotten. I think he might have said something like I didn't know. He probably said he didn't know. I wanted to be a lorry driver. I think that was just because I felt quite rebellious as a child. You know, I had blue hair for a little while. I shaved the sides and had blue hair. And I just wanted to say that I wanted to be something that would shock people. And it wasn't really the done thing for a woman to want to be a lorry driver. And my dad he had a courier company and drove big vans and lorries and stuff. And so, yeah, that's what I said I wanted to be. But it wasn't like I didn't have any burning desire to be anything particularly. My dad wanted me to be a flight attendant or a linguist because I loved languages. And I thought it was the best thing ever when I started learning French at school, and then Spanish, and I got like certificates for, you know, doing well at them, outstanding people or whatever it is. So my dad wanted me to be a linguist or a flight attendant. The flight attendant, I just didn't understand, but I think it's because I did go traveling, and I went and lived in Spain twice, actually did that, twice or 3 times, that family. No, twice. Yeah, twice, I think. See, my memory's going as well. It's another thing with age. But I went traveling, and my dad kept saying to me, like, you should go and try and be a flight attendant because then you can travel everywhere. But I don't like flying, and I was always scared of flying. So I just used to be like, I don't want to like spend more time on a plane, you know. I don't want to get that many flights. Like, it's just not for me. But that's what he wanted me to be. Okay, number 4. What is my biggest regret? Kev says he didn't have any, which is good. I don't have many, but my biggest regret is probably not finishing my my BSc, the degree that I was doing when I was working in the NHS. But yeah, I kind of regret not finishing that, but I wasn't able to fund it. That I got it part funded by the job, and then obviously I left, and plus I was also getting time given to me for work to do it, and yeah, but it is a regret. I would love to be able to say that I had that, you know. This next question shouldn't be one for couples, I don't think, because and this would be more like when you've just met somebody, but it says, who's your oldest and closest friend? And I actually, it still was interesting to talk to Kev, because I know who his closest friends are and I know who his oldest friends are, but I don't know who he considers his top friend, if you like. And I found out some interesting things when he was telling me that. But my oldest and closest friend is Tracy, and I met her when I was 18, I believe, either 18 or 19. We both worked for Commercial Union Insurance, which doesn't even exist now. So we met there. It's funny, really, because there was 3 of us that were friends. And the way that I became friends with Tracy was friends with Kathleen, I was friends with Kathleen. And so that's how we kind of got introduced. We were both friends with Kathleen, and we were all going to go on holiday. The 3 of us booked a girls' holiday to Magaluf. But Kathleen actually got sick and had a throat infection. And I remember that Tracy and I went to the pub to discuss whether or not we should still go, because we didn't really know each other. You know, I knew Kathleen, Tracy knew Kathleen, but I didn't know Tracy and she didn't know me. And we were like, should we still go? You know, we don't really know each other. And we were like, yeah, why not? And so we went on that holiday. We ended up moving back there again, although we didn't stay there very long, but we ended up going back together to work there. And we've been friends ever since. So we've been friends for 30 plus years, which just is crazy, absolutely crazy. But she is my oldest friend. And actually, we both said we might not have stayed friends, or we might not be friends if we met now, because we can be quite different. Like she loves summer and sitting outside. I hate summer, I prefer winter. She loves a drink more than I do. We do have our dogs in common though. Neither of us have children. We both have dogs and we both have boys, and they're like the center of our world, you know, so we do have that in common. Number 6, what is your hope for the future? For me, my hope, I've got 2 things that I hope. Obviously, this is over and above I hope everybody I love stays healthy, and I hope Watson stays healthy and all the rest of it. But being selfish, I hope that I get to a weight that I'm comfortable with, because I hold all my weight around my middle area, and that's because of the hormone imbalance, that's because of the polycystic ovary and the hyperinsulinemia and all of that. And I hope I can get to a weight where I feel more comfortable wearing clothes, you know, that I can find more to wear again. I used to do outfits of the day and stuff on here. It's not a huge amount of weight I need to lose. I probably need to lose 20 pounds and I would feel great, you know, but it's a hard one. So that, and I also, my hope for the future is that somehow we're able to have a house with our own front door that's still in an area that we like, that makes it easier for Kev to drive to his job, which is now in Glasgow, and takes him an hour and a half, sometimes longer, to get to and to get home. It's a long commute, but you know, it's really difficult because we've got what people tell us, it's like we've got a house and a flat, because we've got a front and back garden, we've got lots of parking spaces, we've got lots of room in here, we've got lots of storage, and they don't really make houses like this anymore. And we need it all to be like, we need a bungalow because of my joints, and that's not something that is easy to get hold of either, you know. And then of course with the areas to be in, it would just cost a lot of money, but I'm hoping that somehow it can happen for us. Okay, number 7. What about your personality would you change? So for me, there's 2 key things I would change. I would definitely have more patience, or I don't know whether these are related, but I'd have more patience and be more mindful. So just do everything slower and, you know, like I said, have more patience. I'm just really impatient. I'm not impatient with Watson, or I am probably with Kev, but I'm impatient with myself. You know, I do everything in a rush. I need to like slow down and be more mindful. But also I would like to have less empathy, which I know sounds bizarre, but I literally, I'm too involved with animals and I worry too much about it, way too much. And it really affects me, you know, and especially like I hear stories and they just make me, I feel the effect of it for days, you know. Like the walker was telling me, I was telling her, be careful, there's a dead bird over there. And I said, and that was bad enough that I'd woken up and out of the front of my house was a dead bird. And I said, but then these other 2 birds started fighting over it. And then I was worried about them fighting, and the birds in the trees fight outside my house. And I'm sometimes out there going, stop it, stop it. What was I telling you? Oh yeah, the walker. So she told me that in a local park, oh, this is just so horrific. She'd been there and a heron had basically eaten a baby duckling, and the mother of the duckling was screaming. And it's just, that kind of thing affects me so much. And you know, you see that sort of thing all the time around here. There's always something. Like I saw a fox run out in front of my car the day before yesterday, and it looked so skinny, and it wasn't in my area because I feed the foxes here. And I was like, oh my God, is it trying to get food? Is it going to get food? Should we go down there and give it, you know, that kind of thing. So I think I have too much empathy, and I wish I didn't, because it affects my mental health. Okay, number 8 is, what are your hobbies? And that is an interesting one to ask your partner, actually, because some of the things that you would expect don't necessarily, you know, like I asked Kev what were my hobbies, and he said dogs and making enrichment games. And I was like, you know what? I like the result of making enrichment games, and I do it a lot on the sewing machine, you know, and making enrichment games for Watson. And yes, dogs is definitely a hobby of mine. I love dogs. But the actual sewing process, I don't necessarily enjoy. Because again, I'm trying to rush through it because it's the result I want. It's not the actual process. Obviously, I know his hobby is golf, so there wasn't anything new there. He also plays the viola, and I wondered if he missed that at all, which he doesn't, because he's kept his viola, but I think it's because his granddad bought it for him. But my hobbies are dogs and sewing, but for the end result, and photography. Photography is a big one for me. I absolutely love photos. I love taking photos. I love taking photos of Watson. You don't see many photos of Kev because he doesn't like having his photo taken. He's not really big into photos at all. And I was a dog photographer for a little while, and I did probably 20, 30 doggy photo shoots. And I'm really proud of a lot of those, you know, because like one in particular, she was so grateful because her dog died and she's got all these lovely photos. It turns out really well. So yeah, I love photography. That's all 8 questions. So I hope that you enjoyed that, me doing something different. It was a little bit of, I suppose you could say, a cop-out, because I knew that today was going to be a day. I had the right medication for today. I knew that I was going to be able, do you know what? I've actually not taken the medication. Oh, I might be having a sticker day because I've taken paracetamol, but I haven't taken the tramadol. Have I? No, I haven't. I definitely haven't. Oh, how good, because normally today was a day that it was allocated, and so far I don't need it. I can normally get to like lunchtime, or I can often get to lunchtime without needing it, so we'll see how the day goes, but that's really good that I feel so good at the moment, and that is kind of unheard of. But it's a cop-out because there are other sun cream videos that I want to do for you guys, but they're all ones that I need to do research on and write all my notes out and whatnot, and I definitely didn't have a good day yesterday, so I wasn't able to do any research, but I knew I'd be able to do videos today. Kev's out, Watson's with the walker. I had at the time to be able to do my makeup and do my videos, and so yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this. I'll list all of my makeup in the description, and I'll speak to you again soon.